What's going on there, Workforce? Chris here with Work to Game, and today we are going to be trying a new segment because this week had a ton of news, and there is no way Brian and I had a chance to get to all of it. This is going to be called Gaming Weekly, and the idea is I'm going to take a series of news posts, talk about them for roughly 1 minute. It's going to be a little bit of an intermission in between where I talk about something that's relevant currently, but is not necessarily, upcoming releases or anything like that. And let's just dive in. At the end, I'll be telling you guys, kind of, what do you guys think? What would you like to see different about the format? And then maybe in weeks to come, we can try it again and improve together. It's going to be awesome. Let's talk about games. So first up is this week we did get our patch notes for patch 4.3 for Final Fantasy XIV Online, and that will be going live this Tuesday. Now the servers will be offline all day Monday, and this patch is pretty typical for a mid-expansion patch. We finally get our crafting beast tribes, we do get our new dungeon, new trial, new raid, they're going to have a bunch of new quality of life features, they're going to have some class balances, some PvP balances, and there's a few things that kind of catch us off guard, like we're excited to, get an update to Palace of the Dead, but if you think about the fact that Palace of the Dead, this patch cycle came out last expansion at the exact same time, so to say that, at 4.35, 4.36, somewhere in there, we're going to get the update, that makes sense. So everything really just lined up. That is not a bad thing. There is an absolute ton to be excited about. We have plenty of videos up on it. I encourage you to go watch those, and I look forward to diving into that with you guys on Tuesday. Now the second subject is Kingdom Hearts 3. This week a handful of press and creators got their hands on the new game, and they did not get a confirmed date other than the fact that it would be announced early next month, which obviously seems to make sense with E3 being right around the corner. Now it does have a confirmed date of 2018. That's what they've been saying up until this point, so unless that changes, we can't expect to have it this year. I would hope that if it's coming to the Switch, which I expect, that it wouldn't be delayed there like many of the other titles have, but everybody who got their hands on it seems to love it. Everything I read said the quality is there. They're absolutely pumped to get their hands on this game, and the only thing they want to know is when, which I expect to be told early next month, meaning E3. I expect it to be one of the single largest title announcements to come out of the largest gaming conference in the world. So I think that we can look forward to the great graphics qualities that people have now seen, the great gameplay that they've seen. They said that everything is there, so at least we know so far that we shouldn't be disappointed. And our third thing is Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is coming out and getting a Battle Royale. Now, they have been saying that Call of Duty is going to be moving to a method where they don't come out with a main story. I don't think that single-player mode being dropped is the big story here. I don't think them coming out with a Battle Royale mode is a big story here either, because a lot of creators are saying, oh, they're just copying off Fortnite, they're copying off the trend, but if gamers want it, everybody should be taking a shot at it, and maybe, who knows, they'll do something new and different and innovative that will help drive what that new genre needs to be long term. So far it looks incredible, looks absolutely a blast. The Call of Duty franchise is incredibly successful for a reason. Now yes, I'm not entirely a fan of how annualized it is, but for the most part I think it's a great series that puts out consistent content that is at or above the bar of what an FPS is expected to be each and every year. Sometimes they miss the mark in my personal opinion, but the sales numbers do not lie. So I think that Call of Duty Black Ops 4 coming out this year looks fantastic. Getting a Battle Royale mode is a logical move for them, and I look forward to finding out more and getting our hands on it. Now that does bring us to our intermission, and our intermission this week is brought to you by our Patreons. We have a fantastic number of you over there that support us, and we really do appreciate that you go above and beyond the liking, commenting, subscribing. That is really all we can ask of everybody here on YouTube and all we ever could dream of, and you guys support us in a way that makes doing extra projects, doing extra videos absolutely possible. And the way we thank you is we do give you guys Discord access, and we do occasionally try to give you access to videos a little bit early, like the 50/60 Samurai Guide that'll be dropping tomorrow publicly. We had it done a little early. We'll go ahead and share that with the Patrons before the date by which we wanted to have it published. So thank you guys. We really, Brian and I cannot thank you enough, and we really do appreciate everything that you guys have chosen to give. So with that, this week we're going to be talking about old mobile consoles. So PlayStation obviously has said this week that they're officially dropping production of the Vita. That is not shocking. We knew that it was headed that direction, but that it is officially done. Now that being said, there are still games that have been under, production that are going to come out on that system. And so you have things like Stardew Valley that are still being announced, and then they also said that they do want to continue pushing titles, especially in their Japanese market, which says anywhere there's success, they're going to continue using it. And so that brings this intermission to kind of the question of what is the proper way to drop, you know, a secondary platform like that. So as they kind of carry it into like a graceful little sunset there, you know, is that a lesson that can be learned when it comes to 3DS's time? Can the 3DS drop to kind of being a second tier system after a while, and then start to be this testing ground for games that can one day move up to the current big leagues, the Switch? Now yes, there's huge differences between the Vita and the PS4, and there's huge differences between the 3DS and the Switch. But if a game is successful there, does that tell you that Nintendo or Sony buyers are interested in it, and tell you what features would need to be there when you bring that game up to the current major platform? I don't know, just an interesting question. Would love to see what your thoughts are down in the comments section below. Now the next thing we need to talk about is Halo 6. This obviously seems to be the accepted big surprise announcement we could get from Microsoft. That seems to be, everybody is saying, well, Microsoft needs to bring a surprise to E3, and Halo 6 is the most logical one. It's been long enough since Halo 5 that they could have it in the works and not have told us. And so what do we know? Well, we know that it would be coming to Xbox and PC, because back in 2016, Phil Spencer said that's been the long-term goal, to just make these one consistent platform. So I would think that all of their first-party games, like Forza, Halo 6, are going to be going native on both. There's a whole list of games they have there. And so I think that this week we could see that. Now there has been other news about Halo, like them coming to arcade and them doing all these other things. So I think that the Halo franchise is definitely something we can expect more news on in the weeks to come, and I just wanted to kind of reference it here just in case that's not been a game that's on your mind. Now for those of you that haven't played Halo 5, it did an incredible number of things with the free-to-play model after purchase. You know, it basically continued to support, as opposed to something like maybe a Destiny where they expected you to buy the DLC as you went. They basically said, no, we'll have all these different glamour things and whatnot you can buy, and that will support the game long term. So I look forward to seeing what Halo 6 could be. Now also talking about E3 speculation, it is time for Gearbox to come up with Borderlands 3. And unlike Halo, where the rumors are starting to head towards, okay, it sounds like they're prepping for a Halo 6 announcement, the question here is, why is Borderlands going the other direction? Gearbox representatives have been saying things like, we will not have a presence at E3, which says that we would not be getting a Borderlands 3 announcement at E3, which kind of says that maybe we're not getting Borderlands 3 this year. And I think that that's really unfortunate, because that is one of the few games that could really keep Destiny 2 honest and encourage them to make big, bold moves at truly apologizing to their community by maybe giving DLC out for free for once, or something like that, to say, hey, we really messed up and we owe you guys because we really communicated poorly out of the gate. And so I think Borderlands fans are really hungry right now, because there's not a first-person looter shooter kind of game to play. You know, there just isn't anything for those fans. And so I hope that they're wrong. Maybe if I had to say anything, I would tell you guys to pivot, to go look at Rage 2 and see if that kind of scratches that itch if we don't end up getting Borderlands 3. And our last news is talking about the Pokemon coming to the Switch. It seems to be all but official. They've gone out, they've grabbed trademarks, but that could just be that they want to own those and they're not going to use them. But it seems that the Pokemon Switch titles will be Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu Edition and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. It does make sense that they would run them in a pair. They've done that in the past, Red and Blue, Silver and Gold, Sun and Moon. You know, this is not new, and that those would be two separate games coming to the Switch. The questions then become, if this is coming to the Switch, is it something that we'll get more at E3? Is it something that will release as early as maybe like a winter this year? I've heard some rumors thrown around that it would be November. It would be really great to see Pokemon come to the Switch this fall or this winter. And you know, how are those games going to interact? Are they going to really have access to have Pokemon brought over from maybe Pokemon Go or other Pokemon games? Are you going to be able to trade over, you know, the internet capabilities of the Switch, or is it going to be kind of local? If you own both games on your Switch, can you trade with yourself? What are the opportunities here? How does this game play? And are they really taking us back to Kanto? And what does that mean? It sounds like they're taking us back to Kanto and that they would be having us explore, but not as Ash. And so then you have questions like, well, is that just a separate timeline? Are we progressing and then we're hearing about this guy Ash that seems to be doing the same things we're doing? On that note, if you have not seen the new Pokemon video that just dropped from Game Theorist, I absolutely encourage you to go see how much money a Pokemon Master Trainer Champion makes It's a heck of a watch. So that is our 6th and final news piece. Is that too many? Is that not enough? You guys let me know in the comments below, you know, kind of what you guys are thinking, what you're expecting kind of a news thing from us to be, so that instead of us just coming out randomly throughout the week, maybe we can consolidate it into a single weekly post where we go back and we look over the news. Do they need to be longer? Do I need to go in more depth on each subject? Because 1 minute really does just let me kind of touch on things. I don't have long enough to really deep dive into them. And then kind of just let me know in the comments below. We appreciate your feedback, and we're just trying out something new here. No guarantee kind of how often these will come out. I'm calling it Gaming Weekly because the long-term goal is, if we really liked this format, that we would move to a weekly pace. But with Memorial Day weekend next weekend, I don't think that there's going to be one next week. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, it has been Chris with Work to Game. Thank you guys so much. Look forward to reading the comments down in the section below, and I will see you guys next time. Do you guys remember Clyde the Couch Bear from the early videos when I was shooting in my living room and the couch was right behind me? Just wanted to do a quick update on his life. He has been way promoted. He's now guest bedroom bear. Doesn't flow as well, but definitely feels like he's got his own sweet gigs now that we have 2 beds in our house.